Welcome to Lawyerpreneur, where we discuss the alternate paths that allow lawyers to engage their entrepreneurialism and distinguish themselves from others, because being a lawyer doesn't have to mean doing business as usual. I'm your host, Jeremy Richter. Today's episode is brought to you by Alps Insurance, the nation's largest direct writer of lawyers' malpractice insurance. Founded for lawyers by lawyers over 30 years ago, Alps works directly with your firm, no broker or agent, and if you do have a claim, the Alps claims handling team is comprised of actual attorneys, all with private experience. Alps roots for the law firms they protect. They believe in your success and nurture your endeavors with industry-leading coverage, risk management resources, and accredited CLEs, offering practical advice for pioneering lawyers like you. And Alps has the slickest online application out there. Qualifying firms can apply, see rates, and bind coverage in about 20 minutes. Right now, you can get 25% off one CLE seminar from Alps. Go to alpsinsurance.com/CLE. That's ALPS insurance.com/CLE and use the promo code Lawyerpreneur upon checkout. In addition to the corporate sponsorship that helps pay for the hosting and transcription of the show, you can support Lawyerpreneur on Patreon at patreon.com/lawyerpreneur. For less than the cost of a 0.1, you can help pay for the time it takes in creating and editing Lawyerpreneur and receive copies of my two most recent books, Stop Putting Out Fires and Level Up Your Law Practice. Now, on to the interview. All right, welcome to Lawyerpreneur. My guest today is Sam Mollaei, and actually the way I got introduced to Sam is a friend of mine who's a lawyer in Memphis, Kurt Runger, who I've talked about a couple of times. We were talking about the show and various things, and he said, "Hey, have you ever heard of Sam?" So I went and Googled you, Sam, and I was like, yep, that's definitely somebody I want to talk to. And so here we are today. Thanks for taking the time to be here.
Sure. Thank you, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
All right. So your approach to law is a little bit different. And I think you started out a little bit different than most folks. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey as a lawyer?
Sure. So I went on my own pretty much right away as soon as I passed the bar. And then I read this amazing book by Tim Ferriss called The 4-Hour Workweek. And that really opened up the new possibilities of running an online law firm, running my law firm as an online business. And I got exposed to three key principles, I like to call them. The first one is virtual. Essentially just running an online law firm where you're not tied to any physical location or any 9-to-5 schedule. The second principle that I got exposed to is automated. So creating my law firm without me being directly involved, where I would basically create the systems and properly delegate it out to other people, and using online tools to be able to take care of not just bringing in the clients, but also taking care of the service and getting reviews, etc. And then also scalable. I got exposed to this idea of, creating videos, doing things that really scales out beyond you. So at that point, I refused to meet for one-to-one meetings. I stopped meeting in person. Instead, let me focus my attention on creating blogs, videos, whatever I could get my hands on that has my one input has many outputs. The result, fast forward to the result of all of this, is I got exposed to these systems called funnels, which is how most online businesses are built these days. It's principles of how do you take somebody who needs something from you, who has a big problem, how do you convince them or how do you lead them towards your product or service? And these ideas have been applied to most online businesses. And at the time when I got exposed to it 4 years ago, it wasn't really applied to law. So I was like, this is going to be pretty cool if I can apply this for law. How can I, as an attorney, how can I get bookings and calls using these principles? And thankfully, it started working out. I a lot of trial and error, a lot of mistakes. I was able to successfully apply it. Fast forward 4 years later, but I'm actually been able to serve over 4,000 clients. At this point, I'll probably serve over 100 to 150 clients a week. Also, I'm one of the highest reviewed lawyers online. I have over 1,600 Google reviews, and it's all because of this funnel system and kind of the principles that I shared with you guys earlier, is the whole virtual, automated, and scalable model.
All right, and so let's talk about who your clients are, because your practice is very different from my litigation practice. And so
The ability to implement these for you looks very different than it might look for me, and how I would apply something like this. So your business is I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. You pitch yourself as the business lawyer for entrepreneurs. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, it's
And so,
transactional. Mhm.
go ahead.
Transactional package service where I offer to entrepreneurs who are looking to start their business.
And so, what do you kind of tell me? What do you do for them? What are you looking to do for them?
Pretty much setting up their businesses. I mean, what does that entail? That's what my service, includes. Includes a
Yeah.
bunch of things, but it's pretty much helping entrepreneurs start their business.
Okay. And you'd mentioned being virtual. So you don't limit yourself by geography. It doesn't matter to you where the client is physically located. Is that right?
Correct. Not just where the clients, not only does it not matter for me, I could serve the entire world. I mean, but more importantly, me, I'm not tied to any physical office. Even before this whole pandemic, we kind of had to work from home. I was running my law firm from here for the past 5 years. I've been able to serve, 4,000 clients from my bedroom, all because I basically realized that, the full potential is in my hands. Whatever I built on my laptop is basically what I want to do. And I wanted to have this vision because I always had visions of moving to Israel and, going vacationing in other countries where I would still be able to get clients, even if I wasn't at the office. And it became true 2 years ago. I remember it was my first time kind of testing this out. And even though I was on my trip, I would get notifications, ding, ding, ding. Throughout the day, I would get notifications. It felt so good. I'm like, this is so addicting. And now it became the new norm for me. I wake up in the morning with the notifications of clients coming in without my direct involvement. They don't talk to me. I don't talk to them. And people are just going through these funnels, through the systems, becoming clients themselves, and also being served as well without my direct involvement.
So what does that look like? The payment systems are automated. The forms that they'll need to set up their businesses are automated. How do they work through kind of that information so that you are able to make sure that the automation and the forms you've set up are actually serving their needs?
Good, great question. So there's two departments. One is the sales for the clients to come in. That's done through the funnel system. So the funnel system is just a very particular way that you take your leads through, where it nurtures them, builds a relationship, and gets them to take a very particular action, which is typically for lawyers is to do a booking or to give you a call. So that's what the funnel does. There's videos, pictures, there's pages, content, videos. They're structured in a very specific way that leads them down to a booking. Once they do a booking, they speak to my team. Then the team can qualify them, answer the questions, retain them. And then once they're retained, they're basically at that point, my admin team takes over, sends them an online intake, captures all the information that we need. And through email, we're able to serve them. And even that part, even serving them is kind of pretty much automated, where I've been able to delegate that part of the law firm to virtual admins, people that work virtually who can basically be able to help the clients.
And so that's where the scalability comes in, is you put in the front work to create the forms and create the systems so that once that's in place, they don't need you. I mean, they need your knowledge and what it took, but you put this in place so that it functions even in your absence.
Exactly. Yes, exactly as you said. Create the systems, know what to track, know what the end goal is, and then delegate it out, hand it off, and hold that person accountable to that end goal. So let's just say, let's talk practical terms. I basically use Google Sheets, a Google Sheet that every client comes in. Hey, Mrs. Admin, go ahead and put every client to this Google Sheet. And for this service, I need these things checked off. They need to, let's first get the intake. Then the next thing we need to do is set up their business, then get their EIN, etc. So, my job every couple of weeks, every month or so, at the beginning of the month, I check this Google Sheet. Are they doing their job? Great. Keep it going. That's how it is.
Now, when you became a lawyer, did you know that you wanted to serve entrepreneurs and be a business transaction lawyer? Or was it more an effect of reading the 4-Hour Work Week and then deciding what kind of practice can I create to implement these systems?
Yeah, it was actually, I read another book, which is also another amazing book, E-Myth Revisited, where it kind of exposed me to this idea of creating systems and creating a very streamlined service. Not too much personalization, but something that I'll be able to kind of templatize and be able to use over and over. For the most part, if you look at your past client list, usually typically your clients will have a very specific set of problems. So go create that one service, that one solution that takes care of that one specific problem, and go find similar people who have that one specific problem and offer them the same solution. That's the idea. So I did that. So when it came to business, I just created a one service that would really serve 80-90% of my market. And that's the only thing I do. And then what that means also is if I'm going to do that, I have to say no to everything else. So my first year I had 11 services that I was offering, and I did an analysis my entire year. And I'm like, you know what? I actually calculated how much of my revenue am I making from each of these services. And I realized that for my services was bringing 82% of my revenue. So I dropped the bottom 7 services. Even somebody would come to me, I'll pay you $800 to do this contract for me. Sorry, don't do it. I could refer to this other person. I just focused on that one templatized service that I could offer and over and over.
So a lot of lawyers want to have as many practice areas as they can on their website. There's a personal injury lawyer in Birmingham who I was on his website one day, and I saw that he has 59 practice areas listed. Like solo practitioner, he's got 59 practice areas listed because he wants to capture like everybody. But you're the opposite approach. I don't need to do all these other things. I'm the expert at this thing, and this is what drives my revenue. Is that working out for you?
Absolutely. It's one of the secret sauces, and it's also will be the secret sauce for everybody. How do I know this? Because every great company only does one thing and one thing perfectly. So McDonald's is great at burgers. Nike is great at creating shoes and branding. So if you're trying to just do it all, you'll be doing a lot more work than you need to be. You could kind of make everything more efficient and even do better and grow faster by kind of streamlining and focusing on those top service.
Well, and I did something similar, I guess, in my own practice a few years ago, in that I was trying to be very broad in what I was pitching to my insurance clients. And then I looked back and found that one of my particular practice areas that I was pitching, not only was it not as profitable as some of the other things I was doing, it wasn't profitable at all. I was doing on a contingency, and I was tending to get cases that weren't being very effective. And so, like you mentioned, cutting out 7 of your practice areas, I cut this one out and said, you know what, like, it's not worth it. I'm losing money by doing this, and it's got to go.
Exactly. Yes. You probably get more in life by saying no than saying yes. So I think first you got to cut the fat so you could free up your time to focus on the stuff that's really going to, 10x your results. Yeah, that's definitely the way.
That's good. And that fits. I was thinking about this just the other day, that really successful people know when to quit things. It's not a matter of successful people don't quit. It's a matter of they're quitting the right things and filling that void of whatever they quit with other things that they can be more successful at. And that seems like that's exactly what you're talking about here.
Yeah, the 80-20 Pareto principle. That principle literally undermines every decision I make. I'm going to do analysis. Is it worth my time? And it's just freaky the way it works out, that nature kind of works out. Any numbers that you have, if you pull out the numbers and analyze it, 80% of your results comes from 20% of your effort. So go find out exactly what that is and then eliminate the bottom 80%.
And then maximize that other 20% of your effort, right?
Triple down, quadruple down.
All right. I read in an interview that you gave earlier this year, and it seems that the ability to be creative and explore new ideas, even within limiting the practice areas that you're undertaking, is really important to you. Kind of tell me about that.
Are you talking about trying new niches? Let's get practical.
Yeah. So whether it's exploring new niches or whether it's even within what I am doing, I want to try new things that other people haven't been doing and apply these business principles to law and see if there's a crossover that lets them be effective here too.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on your taste, but my taste is new opportunities, new niches, kind of being the front runner. I don't want to lead. I want to be the leader. I don't want to follow anybody. So, yes, I basically look for any new niches, essentially, opportunities that where people are not doing. So, practical. Let me just give you guys one most value bomb I could drop to you guys. Most lawyers these days are getting their clients from Google Ads. And I'm here to tell you that while everybody's hanging out with Google Ads, the savvy kids right now are playing around with Facebook ads a lot. And that's what I've been focusing on. For the 4 years, I was, my entire law firm, most of my clients were coming from Google Ads. And for the past year, I've transitioned over to Facebook ads, and I've been exposed to this whole world of 10x possibilities more than Google Ads offers. Why is it so much better? And let me just again try to get as practical as possible and not talk about just theories and things. The reason is with Google Ads, you're limited to how many people that are searching for that inquiry. Okay, you're limited to that. So let's just say if you happen to be a personal injury lawyer in Los Angeles, you're sitting there and waiting for people to type that in. Versus if you're on Google, if you're on Facebook, you're not waiting for people to search for you. You're interrupting people who already have that problem. So all you have to do is place yourself in front of those people who do already exist in Facebook. You will get much bigger results, much more results by kind of putting yourself in this bigger market that's on Facebook. So those are opportunities I'm kind of seeking out at all times.
Is the same true for like other social media, like Twitter or Instagram, things like that, or is that not developed yet?
No, I think those platforms are more of a distraction. Getting on Twitter, those things are good for branding purposes and things like that. But I'm always, whenever I'm looking at using social media, I'm looking at what's my direct result that I could get from this. The best way is to just use paid ads, either on Google or on Facebook ads, to be able to put myself in front of people who need my service. So I don't play around with Twitter, with Instagram, not too much. It's good for branding and building out the conversions, things like that. But if I need to go, if somebody challenges me $100,000, hey Sam, I need 10 clients for this firm, I'm gonna go do Facebook ads or Google ads to go get these clients. I wouldn't sit there and create a Twitter account.
So do you spend a lot of time on social media sharing things about your firm as part of a branding process, or do you limit it more to marketing and getting your services out to people who might be interested in them?
So I do it very differently than most people. I'm not too big on organic content. That means content that you post, on social media. Instead, I'm very heavy on paid ads. So I spend, however much it takes to be able to get those people that need my services into my funnels. And then I also have retargeting campaigns that now that I know they need my service, and now I'm going to retarget them back on YouTube, back on Facebook, back on Google, back on as many places as I can to kind of expose them to my marketing material. So I'm not just sitting around just posting random articles on my social media. Hopefully somebody will react to me. No, let me just show only my ads to those people. For the past 30 days, they have raised their hand and say, I need this service. So very focused marketing.
All right. So one of the things that you communicate to potential clients on your website is that you will handle the legal forms and paperwork so that they can focus on making more money and growing their businesses. And it's really simple, but it's really smart because it communicates to the clients that you understand their needs. Like they need to make money and that's why they're in business, and that you're capable. It demonstrates that you're capable of meeting that need, which enables them to trust you before you've ever had any personal interaction with them. I know I've read several marketing books about that approach, but how did you develop that approach for you and your firm?
Yeah, it's called the refined marketing statement. There's a couple of people who teach this. You could just if you go on YouTube and just put in refined marketing statement, you could come up with your one-liner. But just recently, actually, just last week, I was attending Tony Robbins' Business Mastery, and he brought on a guest speaker, a gentleman by the name of Donald Miller, and he talked about creating your one-liner. And he actually has a book on this, and I just have this book right here, actually.
It's funny that you're saying this because like my next note to myself is mention Donald Miller's Building a Story brand, and that's what you're holding up right now.
That's
so that's perfect.
So his one-liner kind of spiel, if you guys want to YouTube it, Donald Miller Donald Miller one-liner on YouTube is going to change your life, and it's going to change your law firm. He kind of teaches you how to create a one-liner that very succinctly and clearly explains what you do. So for Legal Funnel, which is basically my coaching program for lawyers, this is my one-liner that I'll be sharing with you guys. Actually, you guys are the first people to hear this. Most lawyers struggle to have a consistent flow of clients. We build online law firms for lawyers to get bookings from your dream clients without stressing where your next client will come from. Very clear. From hearing from that, you know exactly what we do and how we can help you. It's 3 parts. Let me just give you guys some value bumps. The first part is problem. So what's the big problem that you're resolving? So for me, it's most lawyers struggle to have a consistent flow of clients. Is that correct, Jeremy?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
I think that's pretty fair.
That's really fair. So that is it. The one-liner. Just one line for the problem. Second line is the benefit. Is we build online law firms for lawyers to get bookings from your dream clients. That's it. So we help lawyers build online law firms that gets them bookings. And then the third aspect is the benefit and what's the third part? I'll put it out from my notes, but basically what comes as a result of the benefit. And that is without stressing where your next client will come from. That's the ultimate result. I think that was the result from having this benefit is you don't have to stress where your next client will come from. That's it. Just problem, benefit, result. Put that together. It takes a little bit of time and kind of studying this one-liner. It's not as simple as it sounds. This one line took me like 2 hours. Me and my wife sitting there trying to refine as much as we can. But once I have this one-liner, then I use this in my ad. I use this in my landing page, inside my emails. I also teach it to my team to mention it during the calls. And it really makes you stand out for everybody else when everybody else is talking about being a business lawyer and this and that, and you do all these things. And then, hey, I help entrepreneurs, start their US business without dealing with complicated legal forms. I mean, it's very clear exactly how I can help you.
Yeah. And so the importance is this isn't about you, the lawyer. It's not about you, the coach. It's just about I'm putting the client first and identifying for the client, like, I understand what your problem is. I have an expertise in it, and I'm the person that can resolve it, and here's how I can do it. And so what Donald Miller talks about in that book, which is Building a Story Brand, and you have to go read it, is that you have to be the guide. You are Gandalf to Frodo. You are, Obi-Wan to Luke Skywalker. He ruins all of the movies because he analyzes them all for you. And on another practical level, where lawyers tend not to do this very well is on the website. Most lawyer websites, if you click on a lawyer's bio page, it says, look at all these schools that I went to and my accolades and my awards, but it doesn't tell the client anything that's useful for the client. All it tells the client is, hey, look at me. I think I'm really important. Does that sound about right?
Exactly. AKA the biggest trap the lawyers fall. And you can't blame all of us to do this because we're never taught this in law school, how to market ourselves. And, everybody goes by default mode. So I guess I got to talk about myself because people have to know about what I do. No, don't talk about yourself. Just the only language you use is how you can help your clients. That's it. That's ultimately what your clients care about.
Did you have a business background before going to law school?
No, but I was always a little bit more entrepreneur minded. I think before I even started this law firm, I started like 15 different businesses and different things. I learned so much from all of that to be able to apply it to this. People are usually one of 3 energy types. They're either entrepreneur, creating things, or people are managers, managing people. And the third is operations, doing. So you got to know your energy type and play to that strength. Triple down on your strength, and then surround yourself with people who are not that. So I surround myself with sales and operations. I don't want to do any sales. I'm like so anti-sales, and I hate operations. I don't like being involved with the day-to-day. So instead, I'm more focused on creating these funnels, creating the systems, coming with new ideas, and creating. And then as soon as it's created, it's tested, then hand it off. And I do this over and over on a daily basis. I'm like creating new projects, new opportunities, new things on a daily basis at this point.
And so having put yourself in a position to focus on the parts of the job that you enjoy, does that help you keep your energy level up more so than if you were trying to do all three aspects of this by yourself?
Absolutely. Yes. I have a Facebook group for lawyers, and I do twice a week. I do Facebook Lives, and naturally, I'm a little bit more positive person in general, but people can sense how passionate I am, when I'm talking in these videos. Yes, absolutely. I think any lawyer who's on their own should feel very blessed to at least have control of their own destiny, of their own life. That's like the first level. If you're not an attorney who's not on their own, go for it. I think it's a better lifestyle and it's a better way to go. And then after that, kind of creating your own style of running your law firm. Nobody's tied to anything in life. We all have control of our lives. I'm all for that. Every human having rights to their own destiny and not feeling like you're constrained to anything. Even though you went to law school, you don't necessarily have to have that specific job that you're at right now. Explore other things to see. There's a lot out there. So don't ever hold yourself that you're confined to this specific system that you have to go through. No, think outside of that. Think outside the box. Try new things, and it's all there for us.
I really like that. When I was looking at your website, it appears that the focus of your attention is on non-US businesses that are bringing their business over to the United States. Was that a market that you identified as being underserved, and how did you initially start marketing toward those business owners?
Yes, that is pretty much my niche for this law firm. And that came about when I started serving my clients, and I did an 80-20 per analysis again. And I looked at to see what was a service that I was doing the most of. And one of that main service was actually solving a specific types of people's problems. And that one was pretty much foreigners. So that's where I kind of was a breakthrough for me. I'm like, let me just go focus. Let me speak in that language. And that really helped me scale out. Yes. So it's very important to know exactly who you're serving and for you to solve that one specific problem. So as you can see, my website is nothing about being a business lawyer. Maybe my logo just happens to say that, but everything else is trying to solve that specific problem. So I'm a problem solver. I'm not a business lawyer.
Well, that's one of the things that I noticed is that the language speaks directly to the potential clients. It's not about you, like you said. It's about the services that you offer, what you can do for them. And it's something that's different from what I've seen in most places. There are tons of testimonials from former clients on there. Why did you build the site that way, and why are the testimonials that are all over the site so important?
Great question. So when it comes to getting clients online, there's two components. One is getting the leads. Second part is, now that you get the leads, getting them to convert, quote unquote, convert to turn into clients. The first part is the easy part, relatively speaking. The second part, getting them to convert to trust you and like you enough for them to become clients, is a little bit harder struggle. So the funnels does a great job. And if you guys don't know anything about funnels, look it up. I have a coaching program called Legal Funnel that teaches you about that and teaches you about also the second part too. But great, you get the lead. But how do you get somebody to trust you enough, to like you enough for them to become your lead? There's two ways that I teach. By far the best way is video. Video by far the best way to get somebody who doesn't know you, to get them to start liking you and trust you enough to get them to take action. And the second one by far is proof. Okay? What is proof? Proof is the opposite of promise. What most lawyers do is they make a promise of what they can do. Instead of making promises, provide proof of what you have done in the past. So instead of saying what you're going to do from this point on to the future, go say what you've done in the past. And that is a lot more convincing to get somebody to take action with you when you show them other people that you've helped to take action. So there are these genius marketers online. If you look at their sales pages, the entire page is filled with just proof, screenshots, video reviews, all over. Nothing else. They don't have to say anything else. They just have like the headline, video, proof. So again, another realization. That's it. That's all that matters. Show them proof, as much proof as possible. So reviews matter a lot when it comes to getting clients online. So I kind of had this foresight 3 years ago. Reviews is everything. So let me go gather as many reviews as I can. And I kind of focused my attention on getting a lot of Google reviews. And now because I have so many Google reviews, that kind of feeds the system. It gets me more clients. So yes, everybody talks about the importance of reviews, but it's even more important than you imagine. It's like the lifeline of getting clients online.
How easy or difficult is it to get the clients to give you the reviews?
Another good question, Jeremy. Yeah, you're full of great questions. So there's a very systematic way that I get a lot of reviews. It's not just by chance that I have 1,600 reviews. There's 2 parts, and they're more value bomb for your audience. Anybody who's listening to this is going to get so many value bombs. Hopefully they'll be able to apply and be able to help grow their law firm. So one is this actual script that I use that I'll actually pull out on my computer and share with you guys. And the second is how I do it. And there's a very subtle way of how I do it. So what most people do, let's talk about what most people typically do, is that they ask their clients to, hey, can you leave me a review? Here's the link. Don't do that. That doesn't work. The subtle way, and the reason why I have so many reviews is you got to ask for permission to get a yes for them to leave a review, and then send them a link to leave a review. So the first email that gets sent out is, I'll read it word by word. And maybe I'll even share my screen. Actually, I can.
It's going to be an audio-only podcast. They won't be able to see it, but they'll hear you.
No problem. All right, so I'll read it out loud. So the first word is personalized first name. I'd like to ask you for a favor. Would you please mind taking a few moments to write a review for me? Your comments will help others know what to expect when they're looking for the service I offer. And now here's the call to action. May I please send you a link to leave a review, if that's okay with you? ? You end the email with that. All you're doing is getting them to say yes. And then once they say yes, then you send another email and say, great, thank you so much. Here's the link to leave a review. By the way, I'll be sure to return the favor when we need assistance in the future. So you got to do your ask in 2 rounds. Get them to say yes, and then send them a link. It's very subtle, and people think like it's not that big a deal, but that's the reason why it has some reviews. It's because that micro commitment that you get people to say yes, then people are way more likely to actually follow through and leave a review than just expecting people to go from 0 to writing a review.
So some folks may think, well, that it's counterintuitive, and now I'm sending them 2 emails instead of just 1, and so I'm inconveniencing more than I otherwise would be if I just send them the link the first time. But you just mentioned micro commitment. So
Yep.
by asking for permission, you've already got them committed to going ahead and doing it, and they're more likely to follow through. Is that kind of the thinking there?
Exactly. Yes. Micro commitment. And also it's an easier ask. It's an easier thing to say for them to say yes than actually them writing you a review. But now that you got them to kind of commit to you, then they're way more likely to commit to you down the line. And it's also the same thing with the funnel. Again, you're getting people to slowly kind of trust you to engage with you at the end of the funnel. So in the beginning of the funnel, typically you want to capture their email address. Then your automated emails will be sent out to them, and your leads will start responding back to you. Although every time that your lead does something with you, that you increase those touch points, those are a bunch of small micro commitments that gets them to finally take that end goal, which is basically to get on a phone call with you and also to pay you for your service as well.
So how is your approach? Because I assume that there are other people who are going after these same types of clients and who are interested in meeting their needs and helping them form their LLCs or incorporating or whatever they want to do. How has your approach helped you distinguish yourself from the competition in your field?
I probably have over 700 competitors. I don't look at my competitors. I approach it. Most of those, my competitors are kind of built it as a website, but I kind of established my law firm as a funnel, which really helps me convert more. So if my competitor gets 100 leads, gets 100 people to their website versus me, I get 100 people to come to my funnel, I will convert more than them. So that's the first part. Second part is I use, again, a lot of it goes back to the funnel idea, and I use that videos and my reviews to kind of push them to get them to take action versus, just having a website where people could, just go check out and fill out the application for, LLC. So it's all about that. Again, it goes back into kind of the funnel system and, using the videos and the proof to my advantage.
All right. So your answer to this next question may just be go read the reviews and see for yourself. But how has this model that lacks any like in-person meetings, even lacks phone calls, how has that model helped you serve your clients? I hesitate to say better since we're not supposed to say better, but differently and in an effective way more than what traditional firms might be able to offer?
Sure. So ultimately, clients, the only thing that they care about is they don't care anything about you. So the only thing they care about is you solve their problem, that you give them that whatever that you say you would do for them. So that they get that, and they get it much better through me than anybody else because I've created the systems for it and I've actually optimized this entire system. So the back and forth communication is templatized and that's been refined and revised so many times where it has the most clear instructions over what I want people to do. So your clients do not need to get on a phone call with you. People think it's a myth. It's not. Most people these days can handle things through email. At most, maybe you may need a phone call to be able to close the clients. Yes, I agree. Most clients will need to have that phone call. But after that, after they become your clients, their service could be served just through email. Typically, again, it's just intake. You need an online intake. So usually, whenever you have, for any service, doesn't matter where you are, you need some kind of information from the client. So get that intake filled out. Make it as comprehensive as possible so you don't have to go back and forth. And once you have all the information that you need, then you use that information to be able to serve them through, and then use email for that communication. And again, every part of this entire system has been refined. So all the language and the systems has been refined so many times because I've been through so many clients. So, somebody is unclear about some kind of instructions, then I'll go in there and I'll put those instructions for the next client to get so that I won't get this question asked, or have FAQs and things like that before they couldn't even ask for it. I've already answered it for them. And ultimately, the end goal is it will be a better experience for the client. And something even cool, which I even just recently realized, is this whole funnel system is great for getting clients. But why can I create a funnel system for onboarding clients? It will be a client onboarding funnel. As soon as they become a client, let me push them down these particular pages, series of pages that shows them very specific videos, gives them the intakes, maybe even talk about my other services, things like that where I could lead all my clients down to, which makes the experience even better for them and it streamlines it for them, and also makes it better for me because I could streamline it so I don't have to answer as many questions throughout the process because this funnel will do all that for me. And it's something I'm actually exploring now, and I created for myself for 2 businesses, and it's working out great because it just streamlines everything. So I'm going to create that and hopefully reveal it to our students and kind of put it out to the to the world.
All right. So are there other types of practice areas that you think this is applicable to beyond just this business formation kind of structure that you got? I mean, I guess immediately I think of estates practices and things like that, but is this something that's widely implementable by lawyers who do lots of different kind of work?
Yeah. So ready for the breakthrough? It could be applied to any type of law. Any type of law. Doesn't matter what it is. Again, it's not about having very specific pages that what makes it a funnel. It's about an understanding of like these principles of getting people to commit to you through, again, videos, reviews, pages, things like that. That's what a funnel system is. Yes. So all these systems, everything I'm sharing could be applied to any type of law. So it doesn't matter. Again, if you're a personal injury lawyer, ultimately you still want that phone call. So you could be able to apply these systems to be able to get that phone call. So yeah, doesn't have to be transactional. It could be, litigation. It could be criminal defense. Any of this could be applied. And it was actually a breakthrough that I had to go through in the beginning. Whereas like I saw these funnels being built for products. So my first limited belief is like, no, this is okay. Well, I could see how this applies to products. Well, how can I apply this to me getting bookings for my legal service? And at the time, it didn't seem like I could envision it. And I saw from creating this and seeing other people do it, and also being at the ClickFunnels conference where I got exposed to these 18-year-olds who were making, actually, let me just share the story. So I was receiving the 2 Comma Club Award at the ClickFunnels conference, which is basically award to those people who generate $1 million through these funnel systems. And right before we got this award, we were in this room. There was 400 people who were receiving this award. And these are basically people who basically generated $1 million online through these funnel systems. And everybody there was in their 20s, 30s, and 40s for the most part. And we were standing around in a group, in a small group, and we were just talking like, so what do you do? What do you do? What is your funnel about? And everybody went around, and then we finally got to this like 21-year-old kid. And we're like, what do you do? And he's like, he felt kind of embarrassed to share what he does. And I was like, no, really, what do you do? And he's like, I teach moms how to breastfeed. I'm like, what? You teach moms how to breastfeed? He's like, yeah, and I made $1 million doing that. And I kind of, and it was like a breakthrough for me. I'm like, if this 21-year-old kid can make $1 million for creating a funnel for teaching moms how to breastfeed, then an attorney who has a legal service that helps, that helps resolve a lot of people's problems, what can they apply the funnel system for it? And from that point on, I knew that a funnel could be applied to anything. It doesn't matter. As long as there's people that need and have a problem that needs to be solved, then the funnel is the way to go get that client.
Do you find that there's a lot of pushback from lawyers about applying sales funnels and these more business ideas to their law practices?
Yeah, because it's just so new, and lawyers are so conservative when it comes to trying on new things, just like how Yellow Pages, nobody expected Yellow Pages to die out. And then that was followed by SEO, and then that was Google ads, and now it's like these Facebook ads and things. People always fight new change. And then the savvy people kind of get on it, use it, and then slowly the rest of the market tries to catch on. And then at that point on, it's already saturated and it gets very competitive. So yes, I'm here to tell you, I've been applying these systems for the past 4 years. It's not going anywhere. And we're just, if anything, we're at the beginning stages of this. And I just saw in the past year, maybe top 1%, top 2% of lawyers who are kind of techie and savvy enough to kind of catch on to these principles, started applying it. But I'm telling you, for the next 5 to 10 years, every the law firm website is going to turn into these funnels. We're not going to have any websites anymore. It's going to turn into these very streamlined ways to be able to capture clients. So if you listen to this, take advantage and create a funnel, and create a funnel for yourself.
All right. This is going to be one of those podcasts that I think people probably have to listen to a couple different times to make sure that they didn't miss anything and they need to take notes. And
I hope so.
But we're about out of time, but I want people to know where they can find you. And because you mentioned having coaching for lawyers and all that. So I want people to be able to find that.
Sure. So for the past 4 years, I was in the trenches, kind of applying the systems for myself. When I received that 2 Comma Club Award, it was kind of like for me, it was a breakthrough where it was kind of like proof of concept done. I was able to, not just talk about it, but actually be about it and actually, serve 4,000 clients through that. So from that point on, I created Legal Funnel, which coaches and empowers lawyers to create their own funnels. And I do it through 2 ways. One is a live coaching program where I get on Zoom in a very systematic way. I teach these principles about how to get clients online and also how to automate your law firm. Kind of this vision that I had that I shared with you guys about creating an automated law firm. It's completely possible by knowing the principles behind it, by understanding delegation and automation and creating it for yourself. So again, through the live coaching program, I empower lawyers to do that and also have it done for you program. So that means you don't want to learn it yourself, no problem. I could create this entire systems for you. I have different ways I go about this. But as long as you're interested in this, just all you have to do is go to legalfunnel.com. You'll be entered to my funnel. You get exposed to all these concepts, and also have a Facebook group for lawyers called Legal Funnel. So just go on Facebook right now. Just type in Legal Funnel, and you'll see a Facebook group. Join it. I post twice a week. I go do a Facebook Live. I provide a lot of value because I understand that's what that's how I'm able to get lawyers to trust me and like me. Is to kind of build that trust up front. I give way more than I receive. That's by far. But on the back end, I've been able to, at this point, we have 840 lawyers inside the Facebook group. I've also been able to coach 80 lawyers through this program. And I'm also have probably, I don't even know how many funnels I have, about 10 funnels for myself. And I'm every day, literally, Jeremy, right after this meeting, I have 2 folders for 2 new niches that I'm going to be sitting there and creating today. So great time to take advantage of this. It's not going away. Get on it as soon as you can. Best way I could kind of explain this is think like it's something that I realized recently, and to get people to get inspired, this is like real estate in the 80s. So whatever you create online is kind of like virtual real estate space. So go capture your real estate space, put it down, put your backpack down and let it grow. And it'll be worth a lot more in 3-4 years than if you start in 3-4 years. So go establish that for yourself.
Oh, that was really good. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for being on today, Sam.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
Thanks for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed today's show. Please take time to rate and subscribe at whatever podcatcher you're listening on. And if you want more from me, you can find me at jeremywrichter.com. You can also find me on Twitter at RichterJW. And if you want the extra audio and benefits available at Patreon, you can become a patron at patreon.com/lawyerpreneur. Thanks for listening.